Okay, review time. This will be on the 1993 San Francisco Giants, the 103 win San Francisco Giants, finished in second place in the NL West. You may remember that was the last year of the old four division format. So let's get into what we have here offensively with the 93 Giants. This is going to go by pretty quick, the offensive part, because there was not much platooning in this lineup. So let's get started at the top of the order with Darren Lewis and Robbie Thompson. You see their on base chance numbers right there. Those numbers are looking excellent. And also going to go ahead and show you Robbie Thompson's hits with multiple base advancement. And if you've seen these team analysis videos that I've done in the past, you're going to know that I really like it when you have a number two hitter who also doubles as a decent run producer, along with good on base chance numbers. To me, that is one thing that really makes an offense go. So I'm really liking the numbers that you're getting out of Robbie Thompson. And then let's look at the middle of the order. Let's look at Will Clark, Matt Williams, and Barry Bonds. Let's take a look at their hits with multiple base advancement, especially in the case with Williams and Bonds. Both of those numbers can go up significantly depending on the ballpark that you're playing in with their ballpark effect home runs. But you can see those numbers are looking very good. And just to give you a little background, according to the Diamond Gems book, as far as the home runs for the ballpark effects in San Francisco for 1993 on a D20, it's a 1-6 both ways for left-handed and right-handed hitters. So it's not an automatic guarantee if you're playing a game in San Francisco and you roll a ballpark effect home run that the ball's going out, but still something to keep in mind. So you're looking really good in the middle of your order with the 93 Giants. Now let's go over the one platoon that you have in this lineup batting six. You have your right field platoon with Mark Carrion playing against lefties and Willie McGee playing against righties. So I'm going to show you all of their numbers right now. And to me, this is one thing that really makes this San Francisco Giants lineup go. You heard me speak about before about how much I like it when you have good production in your two hole in any lineup. You got that in Robbie Thompson. And also, how well does the lineup extend past your 3, 4, and 5 hitters? And you could see you get really, really nice production out of your right field platoon with Carrion and McGee. And these guys are slated into the lineup batting six. So those are very, very nice numbers, especially when you're following up terrific numbers that you get out of Clark, Williams, and Bonds. And to extend the lineup a little bit further, batting seventh every day was your shortstop, Royce Clayton, and batting eighth is your catcher, Kurt Manwaring. So when you look at those numbers, you can see that this offense really doesn't have any automatic outs, which is really, really important in Stratomatic. It is a lineup that has very nice numbers as far as getting on base at the top of your order. It is a middle of the order with Clark, Williams, and Bonds that could do a lot of damage, and the lineup extends all the way down to your eight guy. So it is a very, very good lineup. And just to dig a little deeper into the Giants offense, if you're looking for a little bit of depth off of the bench, or maybe if you're playing a series and you're implementing the designated hitter, or if you just need options, like I said before, to pinch hit, I'm going to show you Todd Benzinger's numbers and the numbers for backup catcher Jeff Reed, his numbers against right-handed pitching. So you do have some options to come off of the bench, as well as Dave Martinez too has a pretty decent card. Not showing you his numbers though, just for time and speed. But overall, this offense grades out very, very good, as you could tell by that score. I gave him a 4.8 out of 5. The only reason why I didn't go a perfect score of a 5 out of 5 for the middle of the order is that Will Clark's runner advance hit numbers are a little bit low for what you want to see out of a 3 guy. But keep in mind, it is very, very hard to score a 5 out of 5 in any category. And you could see that this Giants offense, I graded them out very high with a 4.8. So terrific numbers offensively for the 1993 Giants. Now let's look at the 93 Giants defensively. Everything is checking out well above average for the 93 Giants. The issues that you have defensively, and let me focus on these three issues right off the top. and then I'll get into the rest of the defense. You have an issue every day at first base with Will Clark. He is a two fielding, but he has an 18 E rating from 1993. I don't know where that came from. Granted, I never watched Will Clark play every day, but when I saw him play, I thought he was a well above average first baseman. But you could see 1993, that E rating is just over the top. And anyone who's ever played Stratomatic would know that first base and third base in particular, you have very high splits. So the E rating is actually what's more important, especially when it comes to those two positions. You also have an issue at shortstop with Royce Clayton. He's a 3 and an E30. And you have an issue in right field when you're facing left-handed pitching with Mark Carrion in right field. And these issues that you have with these three positions defensively is it's really too bad because when you look at the rest of the 93 Giants defense, everything is really outstanding. Just no other issues defensively, especially at positions where if you do have issues, it could be a big problem. Like, for example, in center field, you got Darren Lewis, who is an automatic out in center field. He's a 1 and an E0. I've only seen that very few number of times. The only other time I remember seeing a 1 and an E0 off the top of my head was Brett Gardner 2017. That's the only other time I remember seeing a 1 and an E0 in the outfield. So obviously that's outstanding. And you are very, very good at second base and third base. You don't see a lot of ones with E ratings this low for a combination of these two positions, especially at third base, because like I said before, the splits are very high at the quarter infield spots. So basically, if you hit a ground ball to either Matt Williams or Robbie Thompson, they're basically automatic double plays, and you really can't beat that. So that is outstanding. So you're going to see that the San Francisco Giants, I graded them out at a 3.3 out of 5. And even though I know that can seem a little bit low, you do have to keep in mind that I grade everyone equally and then I average out the grades from there. However, depending on who you're playing that day, who you're playing against, the defense can actually play a lot better because, like I spoke on before, if you got Willie McGee in right field and not Mark Carrion, then your right field defense is not an issue, which would really help you. Unfortunately, you do have the issue at shortstop. There's really no masking that. There's really no way to get around that. And it's just too bad that the issues that you have in right field when Carrion plays, the issue at short, and Will Clark's E rating, it's really too bad that those numbers weren't just a little bit lower, specifically Will Clark's E rating and Mark Carrion's E rating, because those E ratings turned out to be so bad that at that position, as I were grading the E ratings, they basically got zeros for their E rating score, which brought down the score of the entire defense. So, San Francisco Giants 1993, I have them grading out at a 3.3 out of 5, which is still a well above average score. Keep in mind that 2.5 is basically a average score. So far so good. Everything's checking out pretty good for the 93 Giants. Now let's go through the starting rotation. Let's get started with ace John Burkett. Let's get started with his on base chance numbers. And at the bottom, you see his ballpark effect home runs versus lefties and righties. This was a very easy, perfect 5 out of 5 score for me for John Burkett. This is a very, very good ace card in Stratomatic. What I really like about it is not only does he have nice numbers when it comes to getting on base when you roll his card, both of those numbers check out very good, but he's pretty stingy keeping the ball in the ballpark, which I really like. So John Burkett is looking very good as your ace. Now let's get into the starting rotation depth. Let me show you the numbers for Bill Swift, Scott Sanderson, Trevor Wilson, and Bud Black. You see all of those numbers right there. Trevor Wilson, obviously a lefty, and you see he has terrific numbers getting left-handed hitters out. His numbers against right-handed hitting is maybe it's a little bit high, but his ballpark effect numbers check out pretty good. Scott Sanderson, This is another example with Scott Sanderson where on the surface, his on base chance numbers look really, really good. But then when you look at his home runs on his card, that could be a big issue. Bud Black, you see his numbers right there. Those are decent numbers for a guy who you would basically pencil in as either your number 4 starter or your number 5. If it came down to, if you're playing a short series, do you go Scott Sanderson as your number 4 starter or Bud Black? I would probably go Bud Black. I don't think either card is anything above what I would say just an average card. But when you are setting up to play, let's say you're sitting down with someone to play a best of 5 or a best of 7, and you've got Burkett, Swift, and Trevor Wilson as your top 3 starters, you're looking really, really good with those top 3. You're looking excellent. And that is reflected in the score that you see that I give the 93 Giants starting rotation. So starting rotation score is looking very, very good at a 4.75 out of 5. Now let's get into the bullpen. Let's get started with closer Rod Beck. And this is another one of those issues that I run into from time to time. And I take you back to the video that I did on the 1985 Toronto Blue Jays. Rod Beck's card kind of reminds me a little bit of Tom Henke's card from 1985 in the sense of when you look at the on base chance numbers on the surface, it looks like an excellent card. But when you factor in the home runs and the ballpark effect home runs, that could be a problem. Um, Especially when you look at Rod Beck's card, he has ballpark effect home runs in spots where you just really don't want to see them. You see, he has it on 410 against left-handed hitters, and he has another one on 4.9 against right-handed hitters. So if you're playing in the wrong ballpark and you happen to roll one of those ballpark effect home runs, that could be a big problem. Bullpen depth, let's take a look at that. I'm going to show you 3 guys out of this 93 Giants bullpen. I'm going to show you right-hander Michael Jackson, left-hander Kevin Rogers, and I'm also going to include left-hander Brian Hickerson in this mix. Now, the numbers on Hickerson in 1993, he had 15 starts and he threw 120 innings, and he has relief on his card. And this is a guy who could really play a big role in your bullpen if you're sitting down and you're playing with this team. Michael Jackson's numbers are looking excellent. Kevin Rogers is a lefty, and his numbers are looking very good as well. Also, keep in mind, he keeps the ball in the ballpark, which I really, really like. And if you add Brian Hickerson into the mix, you've got a lefty here who could give you 3 innings out of the bullpen, who has very good numbers getting left-handed hitters out. So you could use him in long relief, or you could bring him in to get a lefty out while you save your other lefty, Kevin Rogers, for later in the game. So I really like the opportunities you have in this Giants bullpen to do a little mixing and matching. Kevin Rogers and Michael Jackson are both 2 inning relievers, so that's good to see, especially since your closer, Rod Beck, in 1993 is just a 1 inning reliever. So at least you could eat up some innings with Jackson, Rogers, and if you throw Hickerson into the mix, this is something that can really help you if you're sitting down and playing with this team because he will help your bullpen depth when you're playing with the 93 Giants. So you could see the 93 Giants bullpen grades out at a very good score of a 4.5 out of 5. You could see I had to lower Rod Beck's score just a little bit. I couldn't go anything above a 4 because those ballpark effect home runs bother me a little bit. But I gave the bullpen depth a perfect score of a 5 out of 5. So if we're to look at the 93 Giants as a whole, you're going to see that they grade out at a very, very good score of a 4.3 out of 5. If anyone has seen these videos in the past, you'll know I don't give out a lot of scores above a 4. And to score a 4.3, which is comfortably above a 4, that's saying a lot. And let me break out some numbers of some other teams that have scored comfortably above a 4, and you could see how the 93 Giants line up against these other great teams that I've done team analysis on. This 93 Giants team is that good. The offense is loaded with guys who could get on base. Some have terrific speed. You've got good pop in the middle of your order with guys who are very efficient at advancing runners, and your starting rotation and your bullpen both check out well above average. And as I spoke on before, it's too bad you have a couple of holes defensively, or else this team, honestly, this team could have rivaled the 76 Reds, who to date is still the highest rating team that I've come across since I started doing these team analysis videos. So that's my evaluation on the 1993 San Francisco Giants. They grade out at a very, very good score of a 4.3 out of 5. Once again, I thank you all for watching. It is greatly appreciated, and I will talk to you all down the road.